The United States went to the polls, and the results are, well, you can decide. The Democrats won, the GOP won.
God bless Texas!
As Amy Walter, a political analyst, tweeted, it's a choose-your-own-narrative election. So let's break it down. First, the big news everyone's talking about. The House of Representatives, also known as the lower chamber of Congress, has been taken by the Democrats, and by a large margin. They needed at least 218 seats to overrun the Republican majority, and they got it, including the election of the first two Muslim women to Congress, Ilhan Omar representing Minnesota and Rashida Tlaib of Michigan. Now let's talk governors. This race has far-reaching impacts because in many states, governors hold the final say when it comes to how voting districts are drawn and thus how votes are counted. This could be a hugely decisive factor in the 2020 presidential election, and although Democrats have picked up seats against the Republicans, key states like Texas, Georgia, and Florida, which is considered the most important swing state, all went to GOP candidates. Again, you can't stress enough how important these district voting lines are and how they can impact the results of an election. If you'd like to know more about how this all works, check out our video on gerrymandering in the description below. Finally, onto the Senate. Every 2 years, about a third of the sitting US senators go up for re-election, meaning they hold office for 6 years with just a couple of exceptions. The GOP has been in control of the Senate, also known as the upper chamber of Congress, since the middle of Obama's second term. And of the 35 Senate races happening this year, they're on track to maintain their majority. Going into the election, the GOP, or Grand Old Party, were in control of both chambers of Congress, meaning that there wasn't much the Democrats could do to push back against Republican-led legislation. With the election over, they leave it with the Senate in hand, but not the lower house. This election was more than just a placeholder for the presidential run in 2020. It's somewhat of a reaction to Trump's first 2 years in office, and as the results show, the country is split. It's usually the case that the president's party loses some seats in the midterms. But with just one chamber of Congress in hand, will the Democrats effectively push back against Trump or the GOP? And will their decisive wins in governors' races be a contributing factor to the 2020 election? We'll just have to wait and see.